Hey everyone, Miranda Pitrone back here with you to do another mandala stone. Got my dot already in the middle there and my dotting tool. And I also have my white dot in the center. I made it with the Decoart's Metallics, the white pearl. And it's still wet, so I'm just going to grab a little from the center to start my plus sign. So down all 90-degree angles above, side to side. And then I'm going to put two little, or not two, but one little dot on the 45-degree angles to finish off that round of white. Okay, for this next color I'm going in between the white ones that I just put down. And you can pause the video in between each color and it kind of gives each round time to dry. And I'm just using the smallest dotting tool that I have. This stone is one of the stones that I made with the Happy Dotting Company mold. So it did come out with a dot in the center too to show you where to put it. Alright, so now I have one of the multi-surface paints, the Coastal Waters, and I'm using the next size up dotting tool. And you can see on this dotting tool I actually have it bent on an angle, and I do sell these in my shop. I just find it easier to see what I'm doing and where I'm placing the dots. Okay, now there's this lovely silver in the multi-surface line as well. And this one is from the Galaxy line of Decoart painting rock painting paints. And I'm just kind of creating blues and silvers and whites to kind of give that frosty look, because we're going to just kind of take the inspiration of a snowflake for this one. And you most certainly could do it all in white too, that would look gorgeous. But I like to add some blues in to get a little frosty look going. So this is another one of the multi-surfaces. It's a nice bright white, this cotton ball. But I'm going back to the smallest dotting tool I have to put two dots in between the silvers, just to kind of change up the design a little bit. Okay, now I have my largest dotting tool, which is about 3 millimeters when I measured it. And I'm going just above those two dots that I put down of the cotton ball white. And this is a nice kind of winter blue. It's got a little bit of gray in it. So it's a little more subdued, but I really like this color. There. Okay, now I'm back to my etcher, which is super tiny. And I'm just going to do the graduated dots around these larger of the winter blue. Okay, so I'm still just working around with the small dotting tool. Large dot at the top, and just let the paint run out off your tool so it makes the graduated sizes down to a small dot. You don't need a bunch of different tools. Okay, we're now going to go back to the white and go in between each of these. I'm just using my paintbrush now to grab a little paint from the white dot and bring a couple dots down in towards the silver that we did. And this is the brush from Princeton. It's just the angle spot detailer, size 10-0. It's not magic, I promise. It just takes a little practice working with. And I think too, we'll just do 3 little dots on the outside. Maybe I'll bulk it up a little bit more than just the 3, but we'll do 3 for now and see how it looks. But you notice I didn't draw any design on the stone. I'm just picking kind of an idea of colors and working my way through to just kind of see what design pops out of this paint session. Okay, a couple more here. I think I will bulk it up with an extra 3 here, just to kind of give it more of a snowflakey type design. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with a larger dot of it's True Blue from the multi-surface line in the Americanas. We'll do it right in between our white design at the top here. Not enough on my brush for that one. So you can still do the larger dots with the small paintbrush. You're just dipping it, putting a ton of paint on it. I overload the brush and then just draw around and paint a circle. And like I said, it does take a little bit of practice, so don't get frustrated, keep trying. Get all my stuff out of the way here. And basically just overload it and draw a circle and try to keep them similar size to the ones that you've already painted. And you can practice on cardstock or other things and just do rows of them to practice getting the sizes down, because that is something that I've done in the past to practice. And I try to paint a little bit every day. And it just keeps your skills up that way. I love how rich these colors are. They're so much fun. All right, I'm just stealing a little bit of the blue to carry the color out a little farther. So from that dot that's wet, I am just grabbing it with my brush and doing the graduated dots along the outside and work my way down around to the bottom. And same idea with your tools. You just let the paint run off, but also the brushes take a little work just because you're pushing down a little bit harder for the larger dots. And then as you get towards the end and you want them smaller, just lightly let up on the brush pressure. And this brush is helpful too. On the angle, I just find it easier to see where I'm placing the dots. Obviously it helps in my videos, but personally, I like to be able to see where I'm placing it, that I'm not overlapping or bleeding into one another. And like I said earlier, I do let the rounds usually dry in between. I mean, I didn't on this one because we're pulling from the center dot, but it just helps you when you're trying to be careful to not blend in and bleed the dots into one another. But the dark and light blues too, they play off on one another to kind of give that icy feel. I have a nice ice blue metallic that I'll be using later on, probably in the stone. And it's just a lovely winter palette, in my opinion. And I hope you're all doing well with your stones, or whatever you're painting on for this evening. I know a few people were telling me they were painting on albums now, or CDs that they no longer use, which is perfectly round. That's awesome. Great idea. Way to upcycle. I saw somebody in the summer, they were doing them as sun catchers. They look pretty amazing. So I'm just working my way around this little guy here with a few more of the little dots. And the last one here. Okay, I'll pull that winter blue out again here that we did for the first larger dot. And I'm just pulling the color out as we work our way out to the edges. And I'm doing these dots a little bit larger, so I'm pushing down a little bit harder, a little bit extra on my brush, more so than I did with the blue, the darker blue. Okay, a couple more to finish up here. And it's so satisfying just taking your time and working your way around the stone. It just gives me such peace. A lot of times I'll listen to music on my headphones or just Christmas music, depending on what mood you want to get in. Sometimes fast paced. Sometimes I'll even go to the beat of the music and I realize I'm on time with beat for the songs. It's kind of funny. Some of you have told me you hold your breath, especially with the little ones. Okay, so let's put these nice little turquoise dots over our whites. Just to kind of fill in a little bit, but add to our pattern and bulk it up a little with the blues. And then I'm just using the same size brush and just paint a circle. It's overloaded with paint, so I have extra paint on there, and just work it around into a circle. I know a lot of times I do the sped up creation videos just to kind of see. For Instagram, they only let you 1 minute, allow 1 minute for a video, but I think it's neat to see the creation from start to finish on people's projects. It's just amazing to me, some of the things that people create. And when you only have 1 minute to show it, yeah, pop it up there, and it's really a satisfying feeling to watch. But I also like watching these to just take time as you're creating to just be peaceful and mindful of where you're placing things, and you're not a machine, you're just relaxing and having an enjoyable time creating. And I know it's hard nowadays to find a good chunk of time to black out for yourself, but you really need that time. I feel it oh so more having 3 kids running around. Especially the 1-year-old. It's really hard sometimes. I have to paint in blocks of time, smaller blocks of time. So I'll come back to it, which I think is great. It's kind of like, reading a book. It's there. It's right where you left off. Sometimes I come back with different ideas than how I started, or different color inspiration if I'm in a different mood. Who knows? Okay, this is back to the silver again with the multi-surface metallics. Just gonna get it out of the way here. And you can see I'm just dotting on either side of the turquoise that we just put in. Just on either side of the turquoise here. Work your way around. And one of the things about doing the smaller dots on a design like this is you don't have to worry quite as much if each element is going to fit, because your spacing stays pretty uniform. And then, sometimes in my previous videos I've said just check around your entire mandala if you decide something in mind that you want to put down for a design element, just to make sure it's going to fit in each place as you look around the mandala, because sometimes even my spacing gets off. But I have noticed with the stencils that it's helpful. The stencils that people are putting out, they're really helpful for practice with spacing. It is so snowy here tonight. It's perfect timing for this frosty little mandala. I can hear the plows going and the wind outside and see big flakes of snow coming down. It's so funny what we get our inspirations from. Okay, so I'm just doing kind of like a little triple dot design here, like a tripod. Just 2 on the bottom and then 1 little one on the top and between them. In between the silvers that we put down. And again, it's just to kind of elaborate on the idea of the snowflake. And again, this is another one of those, maybe I should have gone around and just double checked to make sure I had enough space in between each of the silvers for 2 of the tops. And that way you're not crowding. But generally you can squeeze in the tiny ones. Couple more here. There you go. You see, it kind of gives that lacy, dainty, more polished effect towards the outer edges. Okay, I've tucked a stone here because I'm going to be going down the sides of these stones, and it's a little arch, and I don't want the paint to dribble all the way down too, so I'm got to be careful not to put too much on when I make my dots. But also having a stone under it helps me to see it from that angle as I put it on. And this is that metallic icy blue that I was talking about earlier. I absolutely love the metallics. And you all probably know that by now. I get kind of obsessed. And I'm usually not a glitter girl. I don't know how to explain that, but I'm not really one for a lot of jewelry or bling, and normally I'm painting in a mess. Or kids are jumping on me, and I don't want to scratch them with my bracelets or anything like that. Or have earrings pulled out of my ear. That's another one. So for now in life, I'm a little more low-key, but I still get to use the sparkly paints. So you can see how it's decently thick. So I kind of have to babysit these dots to make sure they don't dribble down the sides. So it does present more of a challenge when you're painting down the sides of the stones that are not as flat. So same if you were doing coffee mugs or wine glasses or anything like that, you just have to be careful because you don't want it to dribble down. One thing with those too is before you cure the mugs and wine glasses, you can always scrape it off and redo it. That's helpful. But with the rocks, it's a little more difficult. You just slowly paint a circle. That's how we do the big dots with a little brush. So shiny. Oops, I got a little off center there. Alright, so as I'm finishing up this last blue dot, I'm just kind of thinking what I want to put around it. Because it is so dark. Let's see. And I'll wait for it to dry a little too in between here. So I decided to go with the lighter blue that we used on the inner part earlier, the turquoisey one, and just kind of do a row around to give it a little contrast. I'm really liking this design, and these stones are fun to paint on, easy to make. And I still have it propped up here so I can see easier down the side as I'm painting. I don't really have the dexterity to hold the stones and paint them, which a lot of people I've seen are amazing at doing. Just working my way slowly around the large dots here. Okay, so now for the next color around, I'm gonna go with this really great neon blue. And I got to use these neons in a collaboration for Decoart. They did a giveaway, and these neons are just fantastic. Their colors are so bright, even without varnish. And again, it's easier when it's on a tilt so I can see the angle from where I'm painting. I find it more helpful to see. Alright, so I think I'm going to use this baby blue, and this is another one of the multi-surface. And I'm pushing down a little bit harder to get a larger dot out of this paintbrush. And just kind of work my way around. Still they get graduated down towards the center, but I want them a little bit larger to give kind of that beaded effect. And I really like how this is coming out. The great contrast between the light and the dark blues. And like I said at the beginning, this design too, you could probably do it all with whites, and I think it would just look fantastic. Okay, and now I'm going to add to the outside part of the design here. Let's do 5 dots, probably for my size stone, which is about 3 inches in diameter. I'll take it from the outside, almost the top of where the arches are, the ones that we just put down, and get about 5 dots into the turquoise blue. And if you are someone who likes to watch the quick versions, I usually put these on my Instagram account, which is just Miranda_Pitrone. And then you can see this made decently quick in 1 minute. Also, Instagram kind of has a gallery there where I have other works that I've created and not necessarily done videos on. I'll just add little dots here. We're going to do 4. So in between the first and second dots, and then in between the third and second dots, I'm just putting more of the white, and this is the white pearl. Just got a little bit of shimmer to it, which is really pretty. And it also just gives a little more dimension to the snowflake idea, just on this arm, because every snowflake's different, right? If you're looking for more interaction, I'm also on Facebook, which allows other people to ask questions. You can ask questions and we can chat. We can talk on Messenger and send pictures, and it's a little easier to interact that way other than YouTube, but I appreciate all the comments and feedback in the comment section on here, all the constructive criticism, whatever you send my way. All right, there's our little stone. I hope you enjoyed creating this. You can see the snowflake inspiration. And these are always available in my Etsy shop after as well. Miranda Pitrone Art. I just get a better look at it here, maybe. Zoom in. And you can see the arc on these stones. It's just, they're beautiful. They're perfect. And they're about 3.5 inch diameter. All right, so please click like and share if you know others that like this kind of art. And I look forward to seeing you in my other videos. Take care.